Line Edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Russia has demanded UN action to get all foreign military personnel out of
the night of July the 4th. We were watching the blitz. I think it must have been about 11 p.m. There was severe thunderstorm and heavy rain going on into the entire area. The screen lit up. The radar man just couldn't quite make out just what was wrong. Maybe there was something wrong with the radar screen, but he was told that it was in working order. So he came to the conclusion that something went down east of White Sands, where he did not know. So in the meantime, we were in constant communication with White Sands, with Roswell Army Airfield, with the base commander here, and also the intelligence officer. We were ordered back to the base. And on our way back, we were still in radio communication. What called our attention that something went down north of Roswell is that people driving on U.S. Highway 285, north going south, noticed an orange ball falling towards Earth. Well, it was common in those days to call the base and tell them that something unusual would happen. So as we got back to the base, in the meantime, Major Easley, the provost marshal, sent some MPs out on 285 to locate where this orange ball actually fell to Earth. And they noticed this orange glow off the highway, about maybe 15 miles off the highway. And when we arrived back to the base, we were told to go out there. We had searchlights and what have you to the area. We had to clip some wire fences, get into the area. And what we saw at that time was just unbelievable. It wasn't one of our craft. We know what they look like. But what we saw was a craft of unknown origin.
The Pentagon has provided a case study of how not to put out a brush fire on the grassy knoll. First they said it was a saucer, then a weather balloon, then a secret nuclear explosion detector, then finally a parachute test using crash dummies.
The Air Force research did not locate or develop any information that the Roswell incident was a UFO event, nor any indication of a cover-up.
They called that one the Roswell Report case closed.
Case closed, right?
Case closed?
No, clearly not. You just don't spend 20 years talking to, eyewitnesses, describing everything contrary to the official explanation, and say you're all lying.
This is General Roger Ramey seated here. Next to him is his Chief of Staff, Colonel Thomas Dubose, who later said that this weather balloon that they had displayed was just a cover story that they used to get the press off their backs.
After 2 years of research, Dr. Rudiak believes he has interpreted the entire text of the memo in General Ramey's hand.
So here's the first paragraph. It reads, Fort Worth Army Airfield acknowledges that a disc, again in quotes, is the next new find west of the cordon. If I'm reading this correctly, they found the main disc west of the cordon, and General Ramey is confirming this. And then it goes into this phrase, and the victims of the wreck. You forwarded to possibly the team, some sort of team at Fort Worth, Texas. So you have something in the disc, the aviators in the disc, they were going to ship them by a B-29 special transport, it's abbreviated as ST, or a C-47. I have about 80% confidence in what I have here. I think at least 80% of the words are correct here. I think even if people can test most of the words that I've come up with, that there's enough words that are clear enough, such as in the disc, victims of the wreck.
Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brizell was the man who discovered the saucer. Colonel William Blanchard of the Roswell Air Base refuses to give details of what the flying disc looked like. In Fort Worth, Texas, where the object was first sent, Brigadier General Roger Ramey says that it is being shipped by air to the AAF Research Center at Wright Field, Ohio. A few moments ago, I talked to officials at Wright Field, and they declared that they expect the so-called flying saucer to be delivered there, but that it hasn't arrived as yet. In the meantime, General Ramey described the object as being of flimsy construction.
The question is, are UFOs real? The answer is yes.
For years, controversy has grown about what really happened here that summer night. Now, a decorated ex-U.S. Army intelligence officer has made a remarkable claim. He says that not only are UFOs real, but that the U.S. military harvested advanced technology from them. He knows this, he says, because he held the technology in his hands and saw alien bodies from the Roswell crash.
The humanoid-type body came from the Roswell area where there was a crash in 1947.
Why should we believe him? Because of the man that he was, the years of service that he dedicated to the United States of America, and the fact that he was considered one of the top military men in his field.
What were the things that he has said in the past that have come to fruition?
According to Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso, he was responsible for bringing alien technology to military labs and civilian scientists. And they used it to make lasers, fiber optics, integrated circuits, night vision image goggles, and bulletproof vests. According to the reports that Corso claims to have read, some of the world's foremost scientists, men like Wernher von Braun and J. Robert Oppenheimer, have access to the Roswell crash site. Corso says that Lieutenant General Trudeau greenlights him to assemble his own A-list team.
You will put on that team anybody that you want. Engineers, scientists, and even I told the Germans. Told them I'll take a couple of Germans too, in addition to the U.S. scientists. We had the organization, and we had the money, and we had the brains to do it, and we did it.
Corso claiming that his team of A-list scientists helped him interpret the Roswell cache.
I didn't have the training or the background for something, they got highly technical. But fortunately, the German scientists were there. I knew von Braun, and I knew Hermann Obert. Obert was a man that said we've been helped. But we had to keep it quiet to protect our budget, protect our organization.
Among those who believe there was an alien crash near Roswell, there is consensus on one concept. The U.S. government systematically suppressed the truth.
The government of the United States and other governments around the world have gone out of their way to keep that wrapped up inside a riddle that's smothered by an enigma.
Philip Corso says he also had to keep his reverse engineering program under wraps.
We couldn't discuss it. We made a decision. It cannot be discussed outside of us. We're doing good. We have the authority, we have the money for our R&D projects. Well, that's fine. Let's keep it that way. Let's not get mixed up in the murky area of whether they exist or not.
extraterrestrials. This particular one that I had to work on, or we did work on, was from the Kingman crash. And that was later on taken to a Nevada test site where, at the time, I didn't know.
Were there any alien bodies recovered?
No bodies. There were 4 live, feeling good guys.
4 live extraterrestrials?
4 live, feeling good, extraterrestrial type individuals, yes.
And where were those 4 extraterrestrials taken?
Initially they were taken in New Mexico. And then several months later they were taken to the Nevada site. One of the things I worked on was a flying disc simulator to train pilots to fly this strange looking craft designed for humans to fly, not for any extraterrestrials to fly. J-Rod is a gray alien, about 5'4". His role was only as a translator, scientific translator. That was all. If we wanted to put something in the place of what they had, he had to agree with it. I would have a question, and I would bring it up in my mind, just how I wanted to present it with him, and he'd already know that I had this question, and he would already have the answer for me. And if he responded, it would be in my voice. And you wouldn't even open your lips. It is possible that he and a few thousand others are working on the project, either here or elsewhere.
Is this a few thousand other greys?
A few thousand others.